Azure Event Grid. And the event grid, it stands as a pivotal infrastructure element within the event-driven architecture realm. Now, if you want to recall the first, what is an event? Event is something that like a trigger has happened, and you would want to capture that event. Like if I put a file, or if someone has called a function, that could generate an event in itself. And if I need to process based on that, I could always do that. So that is where event grid will be important to ensure that there's a reactive program design in place. Now, functioning on a public subscribe framework, it enables publishers to dispatch events without any presumption of subsequent processes. Meanwhile, subscribers independently can select which events that they can engage with. Seamlessly, Event Hub is seamlessly woven into Azure's ecosystem. Event Grid is seamlessly woven into Azure's ecosystem, as well as also extends its compatibility to external services. There are different partners available. You could send out the Event Grid to. And that is where I could show in the portal on the different partners. Event Grid, it will streamline the handling of events that will result in cost reductions by circumventing the necessity of continuous monitoring. Because what could happen is that you could just say you have an event, instead of saying something is there, you could just send out notification once the event is in place. Event Grid will help orchestrate the flow of events from Azure as well as to any external which is required. The events carry essential metadata information, allowing the subscribers to provide with the intelligence to do any data parsing or processing that is required. So let me go and show how exactly we could go about setting an event grid here. So it's simple here. I could come here and I could choose event grid. This is where you will have the different options. You will first of all want to create an event grid over here, and you choose the demo RG. Out here, you could provide the name for the event grid. I could choose YouTube sample event grid here, and availability zones. Now, event grid, this is again, I hope everybody understands the concept of availability zones. Let me know if you don't, and I could create another video for you. Throughput units, how many throughputs are required? We'll get into networking. Now, this is where, unlike the service bus, where you have to have a premium tier for the private access, in event grid, you are fine with having the private access. But over here, what you need to do with the private end access, which is required, we'll have to create a VNet. You will need to put it in a VNet for sure. So this is where you could give this over here, the private endpoint. I'll put it as event grid and endpoint. And what is the target sub resource? It's always going to be a topic. What is my VNet? It's a virtual VNet. You would want to have all these resources as part of the private subnet, and that is where I've created a pub app subnet out here. You could choose it. You may want to choose your own provide your own DNS integration, but for the sake of this, and you could just use Azure's as well, and this is the name you could choose. It will provide you that option. You see, you could go into security. You could provide different options. You could provide system managed identity, which is recommended for an application to talk to the event grid or consume the data from the event grid. You would want to provide system managed identity. Again, is very important. You should have tags, like in a lot of the scenarios, what we have seen in many organizations, they will have a business owner because who will be paying for this, and like the application, environment, and cost center are the tags that we'll do. But for the sake of this, I'll keep it empty. And with this, you could go and review it. It will validate. And once validated, you can go and create the event grid. So you see, this is very simple. It's 3 steps over here for all the messaging options out there in Azure. It seems very simple compared to on-prem, where you'll have to set up a lot of infrastructure. That's the beauty of using a PaaS option in any cloud. So now it'll be done, and you could then go about consuming the event grid and using it as part of the application setup that you have. So I'll go back. What are the distinct features? It is flexible and it provides dynamic scalability. It is very efficient and very cost effective as well. It is serverless. It is a PaaS option, which is platform as a service. And as I said, you don't have the infrastructure headache over here. There is an assurance as well that an event will at least be sent once, and it is up to the consuming application to do whatever it wants with the event out here.